What's up, everybody? Today we are going to talk about the flick versus the roll volley on the backhand side.
Yeah, the difference is when you would use them, one versus the other. We're gonna get all into those things, the technique, everything. Make sure you stay tuned. Here we go.
Let's talk about some of the differences between the flick and the roll volley. So in this situation, first things first, when I'm hitting my flick is going to be more of a quicker, shorter swing compared to the roll volley, where a roll volley is going to be a little bit longer, it's going to be a little bit smoother, and it usually will be a little bit more upward of a swing. So when do I use what? Typically when I'm flicking, my opponents will be up here at the kitchen line, or they're going to be in that transition area. When I'm rolling, they will most likely be in the transition area, or maybe they are still back at the baseline. And lastly, when I use my flick, I am typically putting some pace on this ball. So this ball is coming faster to my opponents, adding a little bit more pressure to them. Whereas the roll, I'll use that roll for a little bit more depth, a little bit more topspin, and hopefully keep my opponents back. Okay, so I've grabbed Jordan here. I'm going to be practicing my backhand flicks. We're just gonna be in a dinking rally here. He will maybe eventually pop one a little bit high for me to practice that flick, work on my location. It's important to remember, even though we are flicking with pace, that the precision of our placement of the ball is more important than just hitting this ball as hard as we can. So we're dinking straight on. He might leave that dink slightly high, and this is where I'm going to be using that flick. Now, I will say I am in a very slight Eastern grip. When I'm doing this, my wrist does cock pretty hard downward. I do have my paddle head a little bit lower, and I am flicking my wrist pretty hard. So if you don't have the strongest wrist, I would advise maybe trying a lighter version of it, maybe not flicking the wrist too hard, or hitting this shot consecutively over and over and over again. It will kind of put wear and tear on your wrist. So please do be careful with this shot, but it is a very effective shot if you can use it properly. When I'm hitting my wrist flick, you could tell my base is wide, my wrist is cocked, and it's down low. My paddle faces down low to really flick, all right? Now this motion here, there's not a whole lot going on with my arm here, but there is some motion and movement with my elbow, all right? So when I'm flicking these move together very quickly and very rapidly, and it should be a nice, quick, short swing to get myself back into that ready position, all right? The biggest thing is I'm hitting this shot to set up an easier shot for me. I am not just expecting a winner out of this, but hey, you never know, you might get some.
Before we jump back in, I want to make sure you know about our attacking masterclass. It's packed with drills and insights that will show you how to take control of your opponents and attack like a pro so that you can be the most dominant player on the court. It's completely free. Just go to attackmasterclass.com and sign up. Now, let's get right back to the video. All right, so really good stuff, Caden. We're gonna go through a quick drill how you can work on this. Again, just like Caden said, this is a shot that requires a lot of wrist strength, so keep that in mind. This is a shot in my game that I've been personally trying to add more and more. I don't hit it a ton, but I've been, strengthening my wrist the past couple months to develop this shot. So just like Caden said, it's not a ton of shoulder, right? I'm extending from my elbow, and then I'm also at the same time at the very end getting some flick on my wrist, and I'm actually flicking it forward. One of the things that you notice, Caden's shot is really, really strong and hits it really well. One of the things that we're extending out and we're not extending down, okay? So it might be a little bit up, but the main thing is it's a quick extension out and then a little flick at the end. So here's a little drill that we're gonna do. Caden, actually grab that basket. He's just gonna toss feed me. And again, the balls that I'm looking for on this particular shot are at net level or a little bit below. When it gets really, really low, like down here, almost in that red zone, it's gonna be really tough to flick this ball in because we need more topspin, which we would be hitting the backhand roll. We'll get that in a second, okay? So here we go. All right.
Woo.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Ooh, nice.
Again. Okay,
That's
so
pretty dang good.
just by, I mean, Caden hits this shot a lot. It's one of his really strong shots. For me, again, Caden, what you mentioned, I think the base is really important. We're not going to be moving.
No.
Just as I'm doing this right now, I'm really, really low and balanced, and I will be leaning in a little bit.
For sure. Yeah, well, and it's also important to notice that you have to be wider in this position, because when you're leaning in, if you are standing up, you're not going to have the balance to stay out of the kitchen. So having that wide base is going to allow you to just be a little bit more balanced, to reach in and still feel balanced behind that kitchen line. Yeah. Obviously, if you hit this shot and you fall into the kitchen, the shot's no good anymore, right?
Yeah,
so and got to keep that in mind.
And I really like what you mentioned. Again, we want to keep it short and compact, because we got to get back and ready, just in case that they counter it back and we don't hit a good spot. Caden is really good about being ready right away. Last thing I want to mention, and then we're going to hop into the backhand roll, is the grip. Caden, you know, we actually have a grip video coming out soon on all the grips and all the shots, but he actually stays in slightly Eastern for all his grips. So when I'm doing this, personally for me, I like to use more of a continental or a slightly Eastern backhand grip. And we'll show you that on the screen here. And this is the grip that I actually like to use. Is a little bit more comfortable, and it allows me to close my paddle face a little bit more. So it's going to be up to you to experiment with what grip you use, but again, it's really on your comfortability.
All right, so now that we've talked about the flicks, let's talk a little bit about the rolls. All right, we know now with the roll volley, the player is going to be in the transition area or maybe back at the baseline. So instead of that quicker, faster swing with the flick, I'm going to be a little bit smoother and a little bit longer on the swing, because the most important part is the spin and the depth of this ball. So wide base still, just like I'm flicking, but now when I drop my paddle and I drop my wrist, it's going to be a more longer and upward swing, kind of like I'm going up a ladder, to really get the spin of the top spin and the depth of pushing this ball back towards my opponent's feet. So here's the situation. Jordan here is in transition area. I'm up here at the kitchen line, obviously. He's going to start with just kind of a basket of feeding me some balls that are kind of waist high, maybe a little bit lower at the thigh. And I'm just going to be rolling this ball at his feet, really practicing this top spin volley, really rolling through this ball to get the depth and the spin that I want. That was a good one. That was a good one. Oh,
couple more.
I think I just missed that one wide. Oh. Okay, so notice my swing was a lot longer on those balls compared to the flick. My swing was a lot more upward. I was finishing a little bit higher, more towards my forehead with that finish. But you also notice the depth and the spin that I was getting. So now we're gonna do a live drill, kind of just like how we practiced that last shot. But now Jordan will be in transition. He's gonna try and dig himself out of a few situations. He's gonna start by feeding me a roll volley. And then from there, we play it out live and we can keep score with it.
Good, good ball. Good.
Ooh.
Those are good balls.
Nice.
So again, in this drill, I'm kind of just feeding Caden that waist level ball, and he's really applying pressure with this shot. Obviously, you can see how effective it is. It has a lot of spin on it, and it's dipping at my feet.
Oh no.
All right, last one.
Oh, it's a good dig right there. Oh no.
Here we go.
Here we go, back into it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, so you saw Caden there hit some really, really good shots. This is a shot that actually I'm more comfortable with. I told you I've been working on the flick, but this one I've been hitting for a long time. The key things, just like Caden said, we gotta make sure we start in that wide base. And again, it's this upward motion. So a lot of this stroke, just like Caden mentioned, is actually coming from the shoulder. If the ball is really low, I would recommend that you drop your paddle head a little bit, then we can actually come under the ball more. If the ball's a little bit higher, you might not need to drop it as much. But again, at some point in this swing, this paddle has to get below the ball. Okay, so he's going to feed me a few here. Good ball.
Uh-oh. Oh,
okay.
That's nice.
All right, so again, that wide base, and one thing also to notice, I see a lot of players trying to do this shot, and they're like coming up as they hit the ball. Really good players who have strong rolls, it's really important to try to stay down with your legs and stay low, and let your swing path actually create the topspin and not like coming up like that. All right, so those are the drills and the explanation of how to hit these shots. Now, to put it all together, what we're going to do is we're gonna do a full drill where I'm actually aiming everything to Caden's backhand side. So for me, I'm working on my drops and my resets as I come through transition. And for Caden, he's going to be trying to utilize one of these two shots out of the air, right? He's gonna be rolling, or he's going to be flicking if he wants to put a little bit more pace, and he wants that ball on me a lot quicker. And obviously, if you can't take it out of the air, Caden, what are you gonna do?
Letting it bounce, taking a step back.
Take a step back and create space.
Probably hitting a really good two-y. We'll see.
Okay, all right, here we go, Caden.
All right, here we go.
There we go. So I'm gonna feed him a high ball to start, like waist level. He's gonna go for the roll first,
yep.
And then we'll play it out, okay? And that was not a good feed. Let's go again. Good.
Ooh, got a lot of dip on that.
That was good. So those are all rolls, yeah?
Yep, those
yeah,
are all rolls.
Those are all rolls. Here we go. Good,
Ooh.
good, good. So
The
that
two-y.
two-hander is something he's been working on. Check out our video on the two-hander as well. Here we go.
Oh, I missed it.
Just missed it. Again. Good, okay. Woo. So two rolls to keep me back, and then I left one up a little bit, and that was a flick on that last one.
Yep.
So why did you use a flick there instead of the roll, Caden?
Yeah, so like I said, flick's gonna be more when your opponent is at the kitchen line. I just had a ball that was a little bit higher, and that flick allows me to add pressure, kind of scare my opponents with some pace. And of course, because they're here at me, if they are gonna get that ball back, it's most likely going to be a firefight, so I need a quicker, faster swing for a better reload.
Yeah, I really think that's like probably one of the big key things on that flick when you're rolling with such a long motion. If you're doing it from up here, right, you're not gonna get back into ready quick enough. So
for sure.
That's where that flick comes in. We're gonna do one last one here. Oh, all right, last one, winner takes all. All right, so there you saw it on that very last one. Caden had a combination actually of good backhand rolls and flicks. So hopefully you know now what shot you should be going for and the exact technique. Go out there and drill this. But again, if you're 4-0, 4-5 especially plus, these are two shots that you're gonna need on that backhand side for offense. So again, if you really enjoyed this video, give it a like and watch these videos below us here.
Do it.
Oh.